So first of all, very excited to be here. My name's Adir. I'm the Cloud Application Innovation Lead for Middle East and Africa. Part of my role is actually to do that, to understand how that shift from how we used to build software is changing to what we're currently seeing. When we're talking about cloud native, the idea is how to take cloud native as an engine, as a toolbox to drive innovation. So really connecting to everything you just heard, it's not just about our purpose to innovate, it's also about the toolbox that is offered to us today to innovate. And those are two different things. One of them is more technical, one is more around the business, but they're very tightly coupled because you cannot chase a train with a bicycle. So if you're trying to be as innovative as possible, you also need to understand the new building blocks of technology. And this is what cloud native is. So I wanted to just give you a sense or sort of set the framework, the stage on what cloud native is. So trying to do this as least technical as I can. It's just a new way to build software, build innovation, build application. Instead of doing those big applications, trying to deliver them every few years, we're trying to decouple them into services, into containers, into packages of code, and connect them together. Let's look at some of the challenges that we're seeing today, and I think you would find them very surprising because most of them are not really related to technology. So we're looking at time to market. This is a survey that we've done on, for our customers to understand where they see the challenges. Everybody understands cloud native is where we want to go. So we have a 7x release cycles versus 10 years ago. Everybody expects the business to ship faster, to experiment, to learn, so that the entire process is different. We have a big issue with trust and security. A lot of those components are open source, so you know what's happening. Every time you see a dependency or an issue, there's a chase to fix it. Team collaboration, and specifically on standards, has become incredibly hard because, again, we're not talking about every 4 years, so we don't have time for developers and the operations and Q&A and everything to be like in a very standardized way. We need this to be a bit more flexible and agile, and this requires a new set of teams and tools.
Let's say I have a $10 million business, I have 20 people. I am just like last week we were doing on cybersecurity. Until it happens to me, I don't know what to do next. Particularly, as I mentioned, the 20th century companies who are now migrating, the retail companies, the various organizations, the shop, those companies need to migrate, and the incumbent leaders, the CEOs who are 50 plus, just don't get it. Adir, what is your experience and your advice to these people, and basically say it is now not an option, but now it is a necessity?
So I think it goes from, the fish and the stick. In one way, it's really about discussing the challenges of not doing it or the risk of not doing this. And we have a lot of examples already. I would say that I think some of the examples that even Nadine shared are actually competing on a space that was previously occupied by other companies. Okay, think about, biggest hospitality was Airbnb, or biggest travel companies, Uber. Those are they took from someone else, and you don't want to be that someone else. So this is a lot of the discussions that we're driving from the stick side of saying there's a cost to not doing this. I know that it's really hard to think about it on upgrading, because you always think, okay, if I'm not going to upgrade, then I'm not going to get benefits, but I'll stay in the same place. That's not the case. If you're not doing this, you're actually going backwards. And I think this is something that we really need to stress.